what's going on with someone in the long term. It'll be more accurate for you. The Fool, Cancer, the Fool. It's Aries energy. The Fool is 0, so this is a reset number. This means we're on the precipice of jumping headfirst into something new. Okay, with lots of enthusiasm. The most enthusiasm a person could have. What are you up to, Cancer? I'm a Scouser from near Liverpool, but I do get a bit of a Manc accent because I've got some Mancunian friends, and then one of my favourite readers that I watch every day is Empress of Energy, and she's Manc. She's a Mancunian, so like if I listen to the same people like daily, I sort of emulate their voice, not on purpose. It's just I get more Scouse when I go into Liverpool or Birkenhead. What is going on here? Right, so you've got the Fool, and then you've got the 8 of Cups. So that's walking away from a relationship. So your new chapter is to leave an old relationship behind. An old love behind, an old, whatever you were previously invested in, you are gone. Ooh, 9 of Pentacles, I like it. Single, ready to mingle. Don't care if no one comes along, just happy doing me. Happy, like secure, confident, financially abundant, looking good, feeling great. I like it. It's like an ego death, Yeah, £18 is good, right? Like some people get greedy with it, but I just think you work really hard for your money. You work really hard for it. I do. I'm a full-time high school teacher, and I can't afford to be paying stupid amounts for a tarot reading, which is, let's be honest, getting the energy of what's happening that week. It's a moment in time, so then it becomes worthless a few weeks later. Their circumstances have changed, how they feel has changed, and you're supposed to spend another 80 quid or whatever it is, stupid amount someone's like asking for. It's greedy. It's really greedy, and I know what it's like to go down a rabbit hole of looking at tarot channels, and you end up following 30 different channels and watching everything, getting all confused, and then you get addicted to it. And it's like, you need to just undo that. If you have like some readers that don't do anything that annoys you, you feel like, they're genuine in what they're doing, and you just want to focus on like 5 or 6, definitely less than, 8 or 9 readers. You don't want loads of channels that you're following, because you'll get all confused. Especially if some of them sometimes really resonate. Focus on them, and make sure that the rest of your day, you're going out and seeing people and being productive. You don't want to just sit watch tarot constantly, because it's very emotional and it can drain you, but you can also get really confused. And I just don't think all your hard-earned money should be going, for the amount of time and energy that you put into your jobs to get that money saved up. I don't think chunks of it should be going on stuff that's just telling you what someone feels like right now. Because it's going to be different in a few days or a few weeks. That's my point of view. As someone who buys tarot readings from my favourite readers, I don't do it often. I probably do it like twice a year. And it'll be the ones that are smaller channels and they're cheaper because guess what? They resonate. They resonate the same as like anyone else. Right, your person, Cancer, is coming out as a King of Swords reversed and the Four of Swords reversed. They're very restless. They're possibly prepared to tell you whatever it is that you want to hear. They might be tempted to embellish, to lie, to sugarcoat, to manipulate, to love bomb. They're very, very, very restless. Because the King of Swords upright, you know, would be like a positive card of knowledge and communication. When it's reversed, we're either blocking people or we're saying nasty things or we're like manipulating them, we're twisting things and, you know, persuading by lying or exaggerating or omitting truths. It's very manipulative energy, that. So it's either blocking, but with the restlessness, like a lack of respite and not being able to sit still, I wouldn't say that that's blocking someone. I'd say that's like bullshitting someone or manipulating someone or, you know, like trying to do the most. Hi, Laverne. Also, if ever anyone wants a mediumship reading, you know, for a loved one that's passed away, I'm very happy to pull some cards and some messages from them, and I don't charge for that. You just need to ask me. The Eight of Pentacles reversed. Maybe they are blocking, because the Eight of Pentacles reversed is a lack of growth. It's withdrawal of investment. These are work tools, and if it was upright, it would be the future, it would be growth and expansion. You know, I am investing increments of time, money, and energy into blowing this up into something strong, going towards the 9 and the 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles, you know, being lasting generational wealth, where you put two incomes together. Usually that's how we get there. You know, in a career reading, that would be like, oh, I'm trying to grow and expand and take on courses and develop myself, start a business or do whatever, add more trades so I can become the 9 of Pentacles. But in a love reading, we're trying to get to the 10 of Pentacles, aren't we? So that's just an intention to invest, actively invest into something because you want it to survive and thrive and go into the future. But that's reversed. So I would say that's a lack of investment. It could be a deceitful person, okay, if they're being manipulative and they don't actually mean to invest, or they're going to try and get money out of you. I don't like it. I don't like it. Like, for an example, a narcissist will marry you even though they're not in love with you, because then they get a constant supply of money. They might be very manipulative because they're very charming, they're very good looking, they know how to turn it on when they need to. They're very sexy, very confident in what they look like. You know, there might be just things about them that you're very attracted to, but then they're just a deceitful swindler, you know, and they want, you know, to control you, and they'll stay with you. So some people like that because they sort of guaranteed that the person will never leave, but then they end up with just chaos and like no money and plenty of people on that merry-go-round. as we live and breathe, but you know, some people, you know, like Tinder swindler, that they just eventually want to take the money and go, don't they? It's like, or you get people that bloody bump people off, like murder them and like claim the life insurance or whatever. It ranges. It ranges. But I don't want to frighten anyone, but that's what we're dealing with. Potentially someone that was gonna, you know, trick you into tipping them over a load of money. But it looks like you've got onto it, or you've released it, or let go of it, or walked away from it, and you know, you're single and abundant, you've got plenty of money to pay your own way. You don't need anything like this going on. Narcissists are very, very busy people. There's spider webs everywhere, okay? It's very tangled. There's lots of lies going this way and that way, that so many that they can barely keep up with it all. It's not a lazy person, it's a very busy person. The Emperor, they've got the Emperor and the Three of Swords reversed, so they've gone from the King of Swords reversed to the Emperor and the Three of Swords. So they're healing from heartbreak. They've become like boss mode, you know, all four kings. So how would their money situation improve if they're withdrawing time, money, and energy? I don't like, did they take your money? Or were you married to them and you left them? I don't like that. Why have they become the Emperor? I don't like it. I'm not happy for them. I'm not happy for them. Hi, Ramo. What sign are you? Well, my voice is going because I've been talking so much. And your Cancer, it could be about you and her then. The Queen of Cups. Okay, so the Queen of Cups is a card of emotional intelligence. It's healing. Yeah, she's immersed in water. Water is emotions. She's refilling her cup. Okay, so this is someone who's very emotionally intelligent. They're healing, they're forgiving, they're patient, they're understanding. They absorb stress, they don't emit it onto people. It's a very calm, you know, a very calm card. I would say that's you, Cancer, because you've walked away from a connection. You become single and abundant, you're healing. They're healing because they got the Three of Swords reversed, but I just don't like that they've bossed up, like, after withdrawing time, money, and energy, and a lack of growth. You know, putting a lack of growth into something. It's not really good English, is it? A lack of investment into something. And then there was like manipulative energy and like blocking. I didn't like it. Unless they were just like responding to your lead. Or you responded to them. Does seem like, you know, like that, doesn't it? Like, because the timeline is makes sense completely. We've got the Two of Pentacles, which is reciprocity, duality, give and take, a need for balance. And then we've got the Five of Swords reversed, which is avoiding arguments and drama, back and forth verbally, trying to avoid division, trying to find balance, reciprocity in the outcome, patience, forgiveness. I think there's a separation and a, you know, I don't know if it's mutual or you prompted it or they prompted it with their behaviour and you responded to it. But it's the timeline's spot on for a separation. I'm sure something turned over then. The Hanged Man. Now that's being willing to see things from a different perspective. We're not moving, we're at a standstill. We've put ourselves, you know, we've tangled ourselves up so that we can't move, so we can't make any mistakes, so that we can not just see things from our point of view, but other people's, and then like not make any rash decisions. They could have air in their chart. They could have Aries in their chart. They could be an Aries, they don't have to be. It's all like swords and pentacles, isn't it, on their side? Voice is going. And you've got water. So that they've got air and earth, and you've got water and earth. So do you see how they're like more manipulative and more analytical and logical and rational, where you're more emotional and grounded and watery, and you know, there's feelings involved, emotional intelligence involved. It does seem quite narcissistic on their side, I'm not gonna lie. But we'll clarify, I've been wrong before, I've changed my mind before. Conquest, just another notch in the headboard, or the real deal. Actions speak the loudest. Oh, that's awful, no contact for 5 months. Oh, that's really sad. Oh, I hate that when they return your stuff to you. It's humiliating. It feels like so final as well, doesn't it? Well, that sounds spot on for what you're saying, where I said they're very logical and, you know, stepping into their like leadership, withdrawing investment, and you're very like, yeah. It's weird, right? Because you actually are like very independent and financially like capable, abundant, generally like abundant with love, abundant with money. You can pay your own way. If you need to leap into a new chapter and away from this, you will do, because you need reciprocity, right? Cancer, you know, the story, it's a really nice, the Greek mythology behind the Cancer zodiac sign is really nice. The crab is very, very brave, and it grabs onto Orion's foot, and Orion kicks it into the sky. But cancers are very, protective, very brave. You've got a very hard exterior. You try to save people and help people. You're very resilient. You can, that shell, that exoskeleton can take a good bashing and be absolutely fine. Well, I think sometimes people go no contact because they're trying to get their head together. It's often not to manipulate, it's more because everything's crumbling down. Sorry, my voice is going. It doesn't mean you won't hear from them again. You often do. But it could be a while, I'm not going to lie. It could be tomorrow, it could be in a year's time. But if it doesn't make any sense, if it feels like unfinished business, then you will probably hear from them at some point. But it's a self-preservation, like a coping mechanism, because they're not in a place to talk about anything, and there could be multiple things that are falling apart in someone's life. It's, if a picture doesn't make sense, it's because you don't have all of the stuff that you don't know about, the stuff that you're not aware of, okay, because they haven't made you aware of it. You got to be honest with yourself, and trust your own gut. Like, if you know the way someone looks at you and the way that they feel about you, their actions don't fit with that, there's something going on that you're not aware of, or that they don't want you to, get involved with. And at some point they will come back to you. If they're enlightened enough, if they do the spiritual work. Well, we'll see what we can find out. Hopefully my voice will make it to the end. I'm so sorry to yawn. I've been getting up to all sorts, so I haven't slept. I do not apologise. I apologise for the yawn, but I don't apologise for getting up to all sorts. Clouded vision. Recognise and discuss red flags or areas of concern. Yeah, so we know there's something going on, don't we, that the picture doesn't add up. In a fog, fear, obligation or guilt makes you stay, get clarity. They're worried about whether this is the real deal, or it's just like a passion-based thing. It doesn't mean that you're doing that to them, or that's their perspective. For whatever reason, they're worried about that. They're in a fog, they don't know what to do. Trusted ties build rapport, belief in mutual respect, and respond with understanding. Dance of souls, be vulnerable and let your two hearts intertwine. Moonlit unity, use understanding to have greater emotional balance. Now that looks to me quite positive, having looked a bit off to start with. They've shut down emotionally, they've gone logical, they've gone mind over matter. But there's a lot of stuff there about becoming vulnerable emotionally and, opening up to each other and getting greater emotional balance. So interesting. Let's keep going. I don't really know anything about black magic, but I know that you can protect yourself from spiritual attacks by saying, return to sender with love. You can ask your angels to protect you and your family, from anyone that wishes you harm. There certainly could be other people trying to interrupt this connection. But they're usually doing that quite directly, to be honest. Like friends or family, colleagues, people who, I don't know why people interfere, but they do. There's lots of reasons why people interfere. Recording, announcing, expressing, revealing truth. What was in the outcome again? Healing, reciprocity. Trying to avoid division. Willing to see things from another perspective. Someone's true feelings are going to get exposed, and I do feel like you're going to come back together. It's really strange. Right, let's keep going. Just because there were so many cards here that was about like a peaceful resolution, a dance of the souls, like greater emotional balance being achieved. Where we've been all logical and like, domineering. Every person who leaves takes away something you no longer need. It's quite, there's a lot of layers to this, isn't there? Because it's like, you could say good riddance to bad rubbish, and if someone's being negative, they're gone, and they've taken that drama with them. But you could also say it as like trees renew, don't they? And old habits die and go. We can outgrow people. There's nothing to say that even if they come back that you have to be with this person. If they're not emotionally intelligent, or if they've got people that are operating them and controlling what they do and how they feel and what they think, you may not come back into alignment because they might not be allowed to do that, or they may not choose to do their own spiritual work, spiritual growth. But it's not necessarily bad, this, because it's like, I see it as like old ways being shed, old habits, old ways of thinking, old issues, blocks, challenges, but that does seem very shut off. Like, that person's just like, well, they're gone, and, away with them will go the issues. But in this case, unless that's going to be a shedding of people around them, like a cull of like people around them that are trying to control them. Like, say if you've been controlled by a parent and then you break ties with that parent because you realise they're narcissistic or something, off they go, do you know what I mean? And it's like, well, they're taking the badness with them, so it's not bad news. I don't know, in isolation, it's a depressing card, but there's something really weirdly positive about it. And then with all this other stuff, we'll keep going, don't worry, we'll find out what's going on. Emotional intimacy. I'm afraid to truly open up to you. Being raw and authentic with my emotions is something I'm still working on. You've definitely got someone who just does not open up at all. They got you on block. There's a really big need for emotional intimacy. They know that it's their issue, and they are going to announce or express how they truly feel. Like you said, it makes no sense. My situation made 0 sense. The last time me and my person saw each other, a year and a half ago, we'd had the best experience, like, so far in a year and a half of knowing each other and dealing with each other. It was really fantastic. Boom, lights out. And what was happening their end was total chaos, and I didn't know. And then what was being posted on Facebook was just picture perfect, like, scenarios, and, like, it seemed all perfect. So I was just stuck on the other side of this, like, mirrored glass, unable to see in, you know, other than, like, things that were, like, on the front of that glass that, you know, that wanted to be seen. So then I was doubting myself, and I was just forced to get on with whatever. But there was all sorts going on behind the scenes, all sorts going on. But you don't need to control that, and you can't control it. You need to surrender it to the universe and get on with your stuff. Okay? That's what you've been doing. And then it could be twin flames, or it could be that they're being operated in a very toxic, you know, environment, home environment. But they'll come back to you. Okay? If it literally makes no sense, and the last time you saw each other everything was great, there's stuff going on that you don't know about, and you're not supposed to know about it. That's their shit, and they will deal with it. Okay? And it could be like a year and a half, 2 years, and then you'll hear from them. I'm telling you now, you will hear from them. On the bottom of the deck, there's jealousy. I'm very jealous. I can barely stand it. They're not going to forget about you. They're not going to forget about you at all. If anything, when you try to stop, think about Romeo and Juliet, the number of barriers and challenges there were between the two of them. The more the maid tried to warn Juliet, the more the mum said, you've got to do what your father says, the more the father said, you're not allowed to do, you know, this, you have to go out with that person. She went and married the person she wanted behind everyone's back. You know, like, you're only gonna make someone, it's gonna look like the people blocking this are winning to start with. It's gonna look like that for a long time, to the point where you give up, right? And it feels like tragedy. And then they're gonna, by their own volition, just blow all that to the side. They're gonna press the detonator, and they're gonna blow every block, everything to the side, and they're just gonna, like, nothing's gonna stop them from getting to you. I'm telling you that now. You come back to me when this, you know, in 12 months or whenever, you come back to me and you tell me how it went down, because I'll be like, I'll be here to say I told you so. Oh yeah, I've forgotten another one. He was banished from Verona, wasn't he, by the prince. Can't remember. It begins with E. Love your shadow. Accept and work with the flaws in yourself so you can learn to accept others as they are. They're in denial about something, okay? They're being operated and persuaded and manipulated by other people. There's financial manipulation, as well as emotional manipulation, as well as physically restraining people. You know, we talked about spiritual manipulation. People are manipulated in so many ways, manipulated with fear. You'll be cut off. How many people have been told, like, you'll be cut off from the family business, you'll be cut off from any assets, like houses that you're supposed to inherit, you'll be cut off, like, from us emotionally, we're never going to speak to you again. Something weird going on there, guys. Something really weird. A badly behaved person is a badly behaved person. That's what my mum said to me. And she said someone could be related to you. They could be a child, they could be a parent, they could be a sibling, they could be a lover, they could be a best friend of like many decades, they could be a boss. But if they behave badly towards you, you get them away from you. You do not continue with it because they're related to you, or it's your mum, or it's your, such and such. And I can't, and we've always known each other, or like, it's my brother, it's my sister, it's my son, it's my daughter. No. Certain things are over the line. Boundaries, when boundaries are crossed, it doesn't stop. And that's just a person hurting you, They're allowing you to be hurt over and over, to be let down over and over, to stopping you from getting you where you need to be. But people have to make those decisions for themselves. If it's people they're related to, if it's people they live with, if it's people they somehow behest to, they've got to break the shackles. People have only got the power that you put in their hands. Oops, nearly knocked my candle over then, that would have been bad. I never imagined so much perfection, sex with you. I feel the same way. I'm just reading Varian Redbeard's comments. So they love, they're very passionate about you. What 6 of Wands is to feel recognised, to feel noticed. 6 of Cups is, to be in love, to make love. 6 of Pentacles, reciprocity, equal give and take, like not being a lazy lover. Everything's very reciprocal, everything's very, loving, everything's very passionate. I never imagined so much perfection. They just like, have you on such a pedestal. I feel the same way. It's freaking, look, it's freaking me out. That you're right, like something doesn't make sense here, and it's not supposed to, but all will be revealed by major change. I don't think it's going to be in the next few months. It could be, I don't know your time scale, but if you think about the changes that this person is going to need to make, breaking out of an existing dynamic, whether that's with a spouse, children, parents, siblings, a toxic boss, whatever it is, that's got a chokehold on them, that's not that easy to undo. Okay, a boss you could maybe like leave overnight, you could just run away, you're not a tree, and at the end of the day you can get a reference from human resources to say like what date you worked from to another date, and just explain and say I'm sorry, but that person was particularly toxic and I've got very good, like, recommendations from every other workplace I've worked. And I don't know if you've ever come across that. You can try to appeal to a future employer and just explain that that was one bad egg. But when it comes to parents and trying to rationalize that you are detaching from, you are divorcing from a parent, or you are divorcing from a child, or you are divorcing yourself from a religion or a culture, or do you know what I mean? It's big shit. So you don't do that overnight. Some people can't come to terms with it, and so they don't. And then some people delay it, think they're not going to come to terms with it, and then it gets to the point where the pressure cooker just lid's blown off, like can't take it anymore, or they have some sort of epiphany. With the narcissists, children often realise through age, so in their 20s they tend to realise stuff that they see things in a different way, just because the evolution of the relationship is sort of laid out for them to see what's really going on. The pattern hasn't changed. It can be like that with marriage, it can be like that with... She's in her 50s, is she? I mean, I feel, this is a collective reading, so it's going to be someone dealing with someone younger, someone dealing with someone older. Laugh about it, that's weird. What a strange thing to come out. Laugh about it. Why? All I can think is that things have got too serious. Everything's got so serious. There's so much emotion, so much drama. You're going to have to find a way to lift your own spirits to, recover and get on with your own ascension so they can get on with theirs. Because I don't get where laugh about it's coming from. That's bizarre. Maybe it makes more sense to you. You might have a very good, like, chemistry with this person. I don't mean sex, I mean like, like banter. Like you can make each other laugh, and you're quite quick-witted with each other. Hi, Artie Vans. Focus your energy. Your intentions hold great power. If you want to manifest healing this situation with this person, wish them the best. Okay, have unconditional love. Hold a loving space in your heart for them, and surrender it to the universe. Okay, like help you. Ask your angels to help, protect them, to help protect you, to just want the best for them no matter what happens, whether it means them being with you or not. And, promise to focus on yourself, what kind of life that you want for yourself to work on, and hope that they do the spiritual work that they need to. Because you're doing yours, you're already watching tarot, you're already trying to reflect, trying to understand, what's going on, or why is it like this. Love your shadow. Accept and work with the flaws in yourself so you can learn to accept others as they are. People aren't perfect. The whole point of being in this human, husk is not to just already know everything. We know nothing compared to what we're gonna know by the time we're on our deathbeds, and when we die, we have an ego death, and then suddenly we have unlocked levels of enlightenment beyond our wildest dreams, and we're not concerned and plagued by the things that we were, like mortgages, like, who's got the tightest skin or the biggest abs or whatever. We're not plagued by anything like, oh, it's not right to be this skin color, it's not right to be this religion, or it's not right to be like, we're not. Oh, just it all goes and it's just peaceful and lovely and ethereal, and we're so much more grown when we've died. Like, um you can have like the biggest prejudices over anything, homosexuality, anything, and then once you die, you're just not concerned with that anymore. You've got people guaranteed around you that have passed away. They can see everything you're doing now, they're proud of you, and they could have not spoken to you because you said you were gay, or they could have not spoken to you because you said you weren't going to be the same religion anymore, or they're not going to speak to you because, I don't know, you had a child out of wedlock or something, or you did a divorce, and people shouldn't divorce. Whatever issues people had that are to do with what other people will think, it's gone. It's gone. Okay, they don't feel like that once they're out of their human body. Okay. um I can't even remember why I started talking about that. I'm so sorry, cancer. Just went off on one there. Why was I talking about? Oh, learn to accept others as they are. No one's perfect. Okay, we've all got limitations, we've all got strengths, we've all got weaknesses. We've also got like hang-ups, we've got certain judgments that we've got about particular things, and we're constantly changing and growing. The stuff I think is okay now that I never thought was okay, like when I was younger, every like 10 years my mind like develops and changes, and I think about things in a different way. You're exposed to more experience, you've been to different places, you've seen different things, you've watched like people fall together and fall apart. It's just, you will not be the same person in another 5 years, in another 10 years, and they won't be. I do that a lot. We've done that, we've done that. Right, we're on to this one. Subconscious mind. I realise that subconscious beliefs or programs may be holding me back from my desires. This is freaking me out. For example, if I want money, I may have been told things growing up that I am subconsciously holding on to. So I go back to my past and release beliefs that no longer align, substituting them with ones that do. Oh, I just getting shivers, like I can't understand like what is going on today, like I'm getting shivers. All is okay. All that I feel is okay. I hold myself in love through the unsureness, the worry, doubt, anger, fear, anxiety, rejection, and overwhelm. I am thankful to feel the full range of emotions that I do. These emotions are the very contrast that leads to my higher expansion. Oh my God, I feel so emotional today. Like I want to burst into tears, and it's not my reading and nothing to do with that is mine. Even here, you've got, like, the number 6, the number 2, it's all, like, even, balance, like, there's nothing wrong with you 2 as a pair, but there's, like, they've been told something is not right, something is not okay, something's not in line with certain belief systems, or something's taboo, or, like, unconventional, it wouldn't work, it isn't right. I don't know what the issue is. That's the only thing I can't tell you, but they've used money as an example. If I want money, I may have been told things growing up that I am subconsciously holding on to. So, like, one of my exes, he was doing really well for himself financially, and he'd always been in poverty, and half, like, one side of his, like, family didn't work, and they were, like, hated the state, and, like, benefits, like, street and all this. Um, didn't like, I could tell they really did not like it when he started to do really well, and he worked his arse off, and the other half of the family all, like, worked hard, like, came home, like, were happy for other people that were doing well, and it was just, like, it was so weird. It was like light and dark, day and night, like, very opposite kinds of people, and he felt stuck in the middle, and, like, he needed to get on with, like, the dark side of the family, and, like, he was betraying who he was if he didn't, like, associate with them. But it was like only bad things ever came out from being around them. Um, why did I start talking about that? Why did I start talking about that? It split us up in the end. So at some point, this person gonna see the light. Um, but when that's an environment you've grown up in, you feel like you're betraying who you are to walk away from certain people in your life, because they've always been there, they, like, helped to feed you, or they put the clothes on your back, or, like, anything they've ever done for you, you're ungrateful, or you're this, or you're, betraying who you are, and don't forget your roots and where you're from. Bollocks to that, because they're toxic. They are toxic. People should be encouraging you to be with the person that you love. They should be encouraging you to thrive. If you start to do well, they should praise that. They shouldn't be jealous. They shouldn't be, like, trying to split you up. They shouldn't be telling you, like, what's not good for you. That's very negative, and it seems like it's coming from a place of, selfishness rather than selflessness. Have a child, or you have, younger people in your family, or you should want them to find their wings and fly. You shouldn't want to clip them and keep them close and tell them how dangerous the world is. That's weird. That is the opposite of, you know, nature. There's a lot of people that'll do it though. I've known parents to operate children because um they need money from them. They need a place to stay if it all goes tits up at their latest, booze house. Um, they can't be asked to looking after their other children, so that they want, their eldest child to look after the other children. Um, they want that child to act like they are their husband or their wife, which is just fucked up beyond belief. Um, they're parasitic, and they tend to make everything turn black and curl up. that's, that they're able to get the tentacles onto, including love interests. But I can't speak for who this is. Like you say, if they're in their 50s, they could have parents that are like that still, in their 70s, 80s, 90s. It could be an ex-husband that's narcissistic. It could be a child that's narcissistic, a grown child, a brother or sister. Do you know what I mean? But that person, that's I don't know why I'm getting narcissist, but that's what I'm getting. A narcissist will force a person to turn off their emotions and forsake what they really want, because it's better for them not to, let their child or their, like, whoever it is that's normal and functioning normally. It's better for the narcissist if they don't think for themselves. It's better for them. If it fits in with what the narcissist needs right then, they'll probably encourage it. They'll probably encourage you to be together. But then they'll be the one that breaks you up as well. When it's time, or when something doesn't fit in with their plan anymore. So that's why it can be like hella confusing. You can tell I've lived a life, can't you? I'm very tired talking about all this. It's not easy to deal with all this. It's all about emotion, okay? Shadow sides and stuff like this, but it's going to be okay. It was all very positive here. Where things are like foggy, there's going to be trusted ties. They might have to shed some people in their immediate environment that are confusing them or lying to them or manipulating them. Build rapport, believe in mutual respect, and respond with understanding. They may come to you one day with all of this and tell you about it. Dance of souls, be vulnerable and let your two hearts intertwine. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be like hyping it up if I didn't think. It was just like so many cards came out. Recognise and discuss red flags or areas of concern. There's something weird going on, and one day they'll talk to you about all of this. But it's very heavy stuff, so it has to be when they're ready to unpack it. And for now, you've got to take care of yourself, okay? Because it's affected you as much as it's affected them, even though it's like they're people. It affects you, doesn't it? How they shut you off or whatever. I hope I'm making sense. You're going to have to do your best to just stay light, okay? Because it's very heavy. Not good to be in like a fight or flight mode all of the time. A powerful spell will bring you what you desire. You said black magic, didn't you? A powerful spell will bring you what you desire. What? A magical moment will change everything. Be ready. Oh my god. Should we try for a divine timing card? Hang on, these are sliding in the way. Well, where it says a powerful spell, you've got focus, and that's to do with, focus your energy. Your intentions hold great power. So think about the life you want for yourself. Think about, what outcome you want for this person, like in an unconditional love kind of way, and say, if we're meant to be together, can spirit make it so? So you're not like saying, I have to be with them and make them be with me. We're not doing it in a nasty way. We're just saying, if this is meant to be and we're good for each other, please will spirit make it so, and that I surrender it to the universe, but this isn't black magic. This is like, just wanting someone to get free from the shackles that they're in. Maybe it is going to happen soon. September now. I'm getting quite excited about this one now. Am I getting a cold? I feel like I'm getting a cold. My throat was sore this morning and I thought, well, maybe it's just allergies, and then I sound like really weird. I think I've pulled all the cards that are coming for you, Cancer, but you're going to get what you desire. And it's going to be like the thing that you're just like, nah, that'll never happen. Nah, she'll never come back. Nah, he'll never come back. Or they'll never see the light. They'll never realise what that person's about. They'll never realise they're being operated by someone. They will. And one day you're going to talk to each other about it. I don't know if you got to the point where you laugh about it, but I think you're just being encouraged to try to keep things light because this is a lot. Okay. Something's going to happen this month. Please come back and tell me if and when it does. Okay. Take care. And please give this reading a like, share, subscribe, follow, repost, support the channel. And I'll see you in the next one. I've got to go to pottery and I'll probably do the rest of the signs tomorrow, okay? Alright, take care.